Hello, you all. Happy Thoughtful Thursday. I hope all is well. This is a vlog that I'm excited about. I think about last week, or maybe a week and a half ago, I did a post based on a poem by Pierre Alex Gianci. I'm not sure how you say his last name, but he wrote a book of poems titled Her, and I just ordered my copy. I'm super excited about getting it. And it provoked me to think about some things in relation to me. That's what I love about words, literature, poetry. You're able to engage with the text, and that's what I encourage my students to do. Like when we're reading, not just reading surface, but like taking steps to dig deeper, to understand and to connect to it. And so I posted a photo on my Instagram page, which is the number 2, the number 9, 2 third power. And it was a photo of me holding a mug that said bride on it. I had actually received that as a gift for my bridal shower that preceded what was supposed to have been a wedding that was canceled. But I still have the lovely mug, and I was like, this would be a great precursor to my vlog when I talk about the church as the bride of Christ. And so you all, the teacher in me, is going to go over a term. So a metaphor is an example of figurative language. Y'all excuse me, I'm still figuring out where to look. I'm not recording. But a metaphor is a type of figurative language, and it's a comparison that does not use like or as. And so as the bride of Christ, the church, has not only a preparation that we have to go through, but we have a responsibility as well. And so I just ask that you go with me as I share my thoughts about the church as the bride of Christ. Okay, so a bride, we know what a bride is. She is a woman who is excited about, of course, she's excited about her wedding day. So we have the bride and the groom. And typically a bride, as she's preparing for her wedding day, she doesn't just wait to prepare the night before. As far as, I'm not talking about the venue and the flowers and the music and the rehearsal and the this and the that. I'm talking about like her physical person, and even inwardly, her spiritual person. There are preparations and there are steps that are taken because you as the woman want to be your absolute best, especially on your wedding day. I mean, there are other occasions that we feel that way, but especially on our wedding day. And I remember being in that phase of considering steps and things I needed to do so my skin looked great, so my teeth looked great, and so I felt great and all of that. And so it's, like I said, a whole process. So there is a parable in the Bible, is that in Matthew, where there were 10 bridesmaids who were waiting for the bridegroom to come get them so they could go to the wedding for the wedding ceremony. And 5 of the bridesmaids were ready, and then 5 were not. They didn't have enough oil in their lamp, so they couldn't go, so only 5 went. And I just wanted to share that because it connects to the fact that, you know, for a wedding day, it's serious preparation going into the planning and the execution of everything. Revelation 19:7, it says, "Let us be glad and rejoice and give him glory, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife has made herself ready." His wife represents the bride, represents the church, because Jesus is coming back for his church. So the question I'm asking us is, how are we as the church preparing ourselves individually and collectively for our groom, for Jesus, for our husband? How are we preparing? When the groom lifts the veil, some ladies, some brides wear the veil on their wedding day, and then the groom lifts it when it's time to give her to kiss. Or sometimes I've seen it to where the groom lifts the veil, I think right before they exchange the vows. But whenever he decides to lift the veil, it's this beautiful like moment, right, where he's he's already taken in seeing his bride come down the aisle to him, and then now she's presented to him from father or a loved one, and then he lifts the veil and sees a beautiful face. You know, he looks into the eyes of the woman that he loves and adores, right? And so the question I ask is, when Jesus lifts the veil from our faces, will he be happy, joyful, happily surprised, shocked, disappointed, or confused? Like, what's Jesus going to be like? And then it also made me think about when Jacob, remember, he worked for Rachel. He worked in Laban's fields for 7 years? And then Laban presented Leah to him instead of Rachel, and so Jacob ended up working another 7 years so he could marry Rachel. But I want to say there was something that was over Leah's face that caused him not to recognize it was her. And y'all, that was like the first example of a love triangle for real, right? Because the question of women, a lot of us ask is, how did you not know that was not Rachel, the woman you love? But that's neither here nor there. That's conversation a vlog for another day. And so, right, what is he going to see when we're presented to him? Or what is he seeing now as we're preparing for his return? How does he feel about what we're doing and how we're acting and how we're treating each other and how we're discipling and how we're going about our daily lives, in our personal lives, in our private lives, in our public lives, in our professional lives? Like, what kind of bride are we? We have heard of that reality show, Bridezilla, right? And then we've also heard of like the wedding shows. What's it called? Not Say Yes to the Dress, the one where there are 4 couples. I think it's like 4 weddings, and you get to see the 4 weddings, and then the brides just vote on who had the best wedding, and then that's the couple who wins the honeymoon. I think that's called 4 Weddings. I can't remember. I used to really enjoy that show. I need to find it. So again, how are we preparing for Christ's return? When I was preparing to be a bride, I didn't start preparing to be a wife after the proposal. So I'm taking it a step further. So even before the proposal, even before I started dating him seriously, I was already in a preparation mode of, I don't want to date casually anymore. Sure, going out to dinners are nice. Sure, going to movies is nice. Sure, getting, receiving compliments and, doing the whole phase of talking and dating, it can be nice. But when you're really focused in a way of like, you know what, I'm really just wasting time. Now I'm enjoying it, right? Because, it is enjoyable. But if it's not connecting to what the end goal for me, then what am I really doing? The phase that I've been in now, and I would say in my late 30s, was just like, why be so serious, or why have to know the end goal? Like, my best friend talks to me about that all the time. She's like, in meeting people and meeting spaces, you don't have to be like, okay, what's the result? Not to that person, of course, but like talking to God about it, like questioning, wondering. And I really have gotten to that phase of where it's like, God, whatever it is going to be, it's going to be. Help me to be a good steward over the time with this person in whatever capacity it's supposed to be in. So, that person can stay in the vein that they're in. I can stay in the vein that I am. I respect him. He respects me, and we keep it moving. And so I thought about that. I was like, man, I wish I had dated like that in my 20s, because it would have been like less stressful. And I would have saved a lot of time. And it also would have protected me from not only wasting time, but also relaxing my boundaries in ways that I shouldn't have relaxed my boundaries. Because I noticed that as I was dating, I was kind of becoming less verbal and less vocal about things. Like, my standards were still the same, but I became less vocal or verbal because I was just like, okay, this is another person I'm going to stop talking to. I'm going to not necessarily lose interest in, but because I'm spending time with this person and figuring out and realizing, yeah, this is not serious, or this is not connected to anything that's long term, so we don't really need to be in this space anymore. But again, that's a vlog for another day too. So when I connected with the person initially, I hadn't been dating or talking to anyone for like 2 years, because I told God, I was like, Lord, I'm done with the merry-go-round of that. I'm done with wasting the time. I'm done with the wasted energy, having people in my space, me being in their space. Like, I'm done with it. And so it was like 1.5 years, 2 years. I just was not entertaining anyone, and I wasn't jaded. I wasn't bitter. I was just like, I'm waiting for my husband. And So in that preparation mode, I was just taking time to get to know myself better, reflect, figure out likes, dislikes, figure out how I could become a better person. And then I didn't really want to do that like dating, even though it was casual, or hanging out. What do people say? Kicking it. I don't want to do any of that because it was really like a distraction. Um, no matter how nice a person could have been, not taking anything away from it, because I think about the people that I have like dated before, like when I was in my 20s and even in my 30s, they're all great men. They just weren't the person that was supposed to be for my future. So not taking anything away from them because they're great people. It just wasn't my person. And I even, sidebar, I even think about them occasionally, and I like pray for them and like pray for their future. I pray for their families because, typically with me, like I have to, when I assess a situation and I stop it or I end it, I go through my process of, the disappointment and or being healed if that's necessary. Then I always come on the other side of it, like, God bless them, God keep them. And even not even having the issue with like sharing kind words. I mean, why? Like things don't have to be so ugly. Things don't have to be so bitter and just drama. Like they don't have to be dramatic. Like we're grown, right? So why are some of us acting like we're teenagers who don't know how to assess and deal with our emotions in a healthy and constructive way, right? Like what are we doing? Another vlog. Excuse me, y'all. So as we prepare, since we are the bride of Christ, what are we focusing on? Are we tending to our God-given assignments and purpose, or are we caught up? Are we living, loving, serving, and reaching the world for God's glory, or are we wasting time? Are we focused on busy work in the church? Are we focused on whose church is bigger, whose is this, whose is that? Like what impact are we having? And so the final question that I have is this: what will Jesus see in us when he returns for his bride? So what is he seeing in us now? And what will he see in us when he returns to come get us, to take us to heaven? So as the bride of Christ, y'all, there is a level of expectation that we should meet and even strive to exceed, because we're not perfect. God knows our heart, but we should continue working forward to pleasing him on a daily basis and serving as his vessels in the earthly realm, because we're his extension in the earthly realm. Okay, so I hope that y'all enjoyed the vlog. Please excuse the sidebars that I gave. That just lets me know I need to do another vlog about those things. And I actually wrote that down, that I need to do a vlog about those things. There's like 5 things that I need to do, and so I will. But I hope y'all have a wonderful one. Thanks for joining me for Thoughtful Thursday. Next, remember, the third Wednesday, of every month is What a Word Wednesday. And then you all know that if we're connected on social media, that registration for the Digital Empower You Conference opened yesterday at 12 noon, and you can go to the registration link. I'll put the website in the description, but the website is www.jj2thethirdpowerallspelledout.com. I am so excited about this and connecting with some awesome, amazing ladies, and it's going to be just a wonderful time of empowerment, because we want you to be empowered in whatever phase we're in, whatever issue we're facing as a country, as a world, as a nation. We can be empowered. All right, y'all have a good one. Talk with you later. Yeah, and not only be empowered, but we can dream forward. Okay, let's not forget that no matter what phase we're in, we can still dream forward and aspire for more. We can still reach and attain our goals. They may have to be modified for a time being, but we can still move forward in that. All right, y'all have a good one. Later.